I'm attorney Nick Alcock, and if you have a criminal matter and you have to attend a justice court hearing in Maricopa County, this video is for you. There have been a number of changes since COVID-19 hit, and I want to give you some updates on how the court system is working and operating. First of all, when you have a justice court matter, know that sometimes people panic because they see Maricopa County attorney. They may feel that they're charged with a felony, and most of the cases that go through the justice court are actually misdemeanors. There are some cases that can be transferred to Superior Court for felony prosecution, but the vast majority of the cases that hit the justice courts are DUIs, shoplifting, assault cases. They're all misdemeanor cases. And if you go online, you'll see that the maximum penalty for a misdemeanor is 6 months in jail. That can also make you very, very nervous. Don't worry, the vast majority of people, especially people who've never been through the system before, the vast majority of people who are charged with a crime and go to a justice court in Maricopa County, those people don't get anywhere near that length of time. Justice courts have been very responsive with regards to COVID, and they are allowing people to appear telephonically. And certainly the judges and the court staff are very interested in protecting people. So on our website, you'll see a very comprehensive list and the phone number of all the justice courts. If you do have a justice court matter, call well in advance. So go to our site, alcocklaw.com, go to the criminal section down at the bottom. There'll be a link here on the bottom of the video. You'll see all the addresses and the phone numbers of all of the various justice courts. Call in advance because obviously things can change and they can change the way that they're setting up those court appearances. But for the most part, they're allowing telephonic appearances, but you want to make sure that when you do call in, you're calling in with a phone that's fully charged in an environment which is free from ambient noises, and you want to take it as seriously as you can. You don't want to be driving around and things like that. Justice court matters typically on the misdemeanor side last 6 months, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. That first court appearance is not trial. What it is opportunity for you to enter a plea of not guilty. Don't worry about entering a plea of not guilty. You can always change it later, and no judge is going to say, well, why did you say you were not guilty and you're changing your plea to guilty now? It's just a formality. Basically, it enables the case to proceed. If you hear a judge say you're facing a maximum sentence of 6 months or a big fine, don't worry about it in the sense that that maximum is the theoretical maximum, and the judge is not telling you that the judge is considering giving you that period of time. It's always a good idea to speak with an attorney. It's always a good idea to get organized and get all of the evidence against you. There are very, very few cases where you have to make a decision within the first few days of the case being opened. And so we offer a free consultation for justice court matters throughout the state of Arizona. In Maricopa County in particular, our office is here in Phoenix, and we're extremely familiar with all the justice courts and all the prosecutors. There are some tricks of the trade with justice courts you need to be aware of, and mainly what it is that unlike a city court where everything's housed in one building, at the justice court level, you're dealing with a prosecutor who may have to go to a supervisor. The supervisor may not be in the building, and you have to communicate in a way with that prosecutor, so you're not only talking to the prosecutor, but you're communicating with that prosecutor's supervisor. The way to do that is to file a deviation request. So it may not be enough to walk into court if you're unrepresented and talk to the prosecutor and say, pretty please, I need something to happen here. The prosecutor is very likely to say, well, I need to speak with my supervisor. One thing that private attorneys do is we submit deviation requests, which are formal in writing requests saying, look, these are the problems with the case. This is why we're asking for the case to be dismissed, or this is why we're asking for an extraordinary outcome. That deviation usually gets staffed with the supervisors at the county attorney's office. And so it's a good idea to remember that the prosecutor that you're talking to at a justice court, unlike a city court, that prosecutor may not have the authority to dismiss the case, may not have the authority to give you what you want. And so you have to provide something in writing if you really want to effectively communicate with the supervisor at that level. The other thing I can tell you is that they just opened up home detention. Home detention is something that a lot of city courts offered. So if you're hearing home detention is not an option in the justice court, that might be old information. That might be something that you're hearing from an attorney who's not aware of the fact that the rules have just changed. So there may be a way for you to serve the vast majority of your sentence in a home detention environment. This is September of 2020, and quite honestly, they're still trying to figure out the dynamics of how home detention is going to work. For a firm like us, we handle cases in city court all the time, and we're very well versed with the mechanism whereby you can spend your jail time in a home detention environment. And so a lot of what we're doing is we're helping the prosecutors understand how that works. And it's a fluid process, but we're absolutely equipped to help people with that. So if you have a criminal matter and you've got a summons, my advice is the following. Look at that phone number, call the Justice Court well in advance, find out what they want you to do. Do they want you to appear in person or call? The vast majority will say you can call. You want to have a nice quiet environment where you do call. It's okay to enter a plea of not guilty. It's okay to ask for copies of all of the paperwork against you. Also okay to speak to a number of different attorneys about what your options are. And one thing that we offer here is a free consultation, 602-989-5000. Any case in any justice court here in Arizona, Maricopa County, we're happy to speak with you over the phone or also in the office. The other thing I can tell you with regards to justice court matters, it's very, very important for you to keep in mind, is that once you do take a plea agreement, it's very hard to back out of it. So sometimes people show up at justice court and they panic, they enter a plea, they say that they're guilty. It's very hard to unring that bell. So if you do want to speak with an attorney before you have that court experience, before you're put in that position, we definitely encourage you to call. We're not a high pressure law firm in any way, shape, or form. We're not going to say that you got to sign up right this instant, but just understand that it may be to your benefit to speak to an attorney before you go to court, because that pressure can be put to bear. 602-989-5000 is our number. My name is Nick Alcock. It's a pleasure being here with you, and I appreciate your attention, and thank you so much.